Gonna rise up, find my direction magnetically. Gonna rise up, throw down my head.
I did this radio show yesterday, this recovery show, and the woman was very nice. She was in recovery. She was a doctor, smart, informed, caring, and it was a show about recovery. But again, she began the sort of questioning about, like, well, tell us how you got here, and tell us about your story, the story. And good people couch it in a way of like, tell us a story because it inspires people. It connects people, and I understand that. I definitely understand that, but I'm not doing it because people get lost in the story. They get lost in the story, and then they end up, obsessing about Lindsay Lohan for 5 years, okay? So that's what happens when you get to the story. So I basically said, look, I stuck needles in my arms and I raced cars, down, and people chased me. So that's all you need to know about the story. Let's talk about recovery. Let's talk about empowerment. Let's talk about, the things that need to be overcome in our society so people have a chance to recover. Let's talk about access to treatment. Let's talk about those issues. And let's talk about that there's a world full of people who the world needs to hear from, not just about overcoming this illness, but because of their perspective. When I was younger, when I actually read books, I read a lot of biographies and autobiographies, and I was struck by the fact that all of those people who achieved great things in the world seem to overcome something major in their life, an illness or something. And I remember growing up and hearing stories about my uncle, President Kennedy, who had this back issue and was very, he had lots of serious illnesses his whole life and almost died many times because of them. And it was impressed on me that much of who he was came from his struggle with those things, his soul, his curiosity, his interest in books. All of that stuff came from these illnesses that he had to overcome. And I thought, there are millions of people in the world who have done that, who have overcome enormous things, and who are not listened to, who are relegated to this sort of second-class citizen status, and who the world doesn't really want to hear from unless they want to talk about how they overcame these things so they could be examples to others. But these folks have things to say about a lot of things, and the world needs to hear it. And so this is meant for the folks that are out there that don't think they have something to say or are scared to say it. You do. You have a lot to say, and you have a lot to give. And you can do it in church basements, or you can do it on the news, or you can do it on a blog, or you can do it anywhere you want. But the world needs to hear you. It's vital that the world hears you, because we have challenges now that those of us who have overcome things could bring wisdom to. So speak up.
Gonna rise up.